Alright everyone, Scott Genovese here for another drum lesson video. And today, the drum lesson is on the rudiment, hence the title, wherever you're looking. It's called the 6-stroke roll. That's right, the 6-stroke roll. Alright, so, we're dealing with 6 notes, hence the name, 6-stroke roll. So, before I go further, there are different ways of playing this rudiment. But this is usually the first way, what I'm about to do, this is the first way it's usually taught. Alright? So, here's the usual or the traditional way of playing it. If you're looking at one beat of 4/16 notes, or should I say a beat that contains 4/16 notes, you're usually taught to start on the second 16th note, or the E. And that first note gets a double. Then the next note, which would be the and, or the third 16th note, would get another double. And then you play on the or the fourth 16th note. You play an accent, but only as a single note. And then you end it on the next beat with another accented stroke. Let me show you how this sounds. Alright, so if you're counting out loud, you're thinking E and a 2, E and a 1, E and a 2, E and a 1, E and a 2. So you get that 1, E. So after that, after you play it the first time without that beat being silent, it does get filled up with that accented note afterwards. But if you just put a rest after that, you just get 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Now, if you start to play it continuously, like I did a few seconds ago, then it starts to sound fuller. So that's the first way. Now bring it a little more to playing it at a faster tempo. It sounds something like this. All right. So we'll call that the main way, because now we're going to go into some variations or permutations of it. Alright? And that involves moving the notes to different partials of the beat. Alright? So now, we have this. Now what I'm going to show you is variation number 1. Let's call it variation number 1. Now, move. Instead of starting with an accent and then going to the doubles, now bring the two accented notes, the two singles, to the beginning of the rudiment. So you get 1 E, 2 E, 1 E, 2 E. So this is what it sounds like. Alright, so then, when you bring that up to tempo, it sounds something like this. Alright, now let's call this next one, I'm sorry I'm going at a brisk pace here, but I want to cover as much as I can. Now, the next variation, or variation number 2, switch that around. Instead of playing the two accented singles at the beginning, now bring those two at the last two notes of the beat. Alright? So you start with the doubles instead, and end with the two single strokes. So this variation sounds like this. 1, we've done 3 versions of this so far, so I highly recommend you all count out loud. Count 1 E and 2 E and however many beats you want to use. So you can go 1 E and 1 E and 1 E and 1 for as long as you want, just as long as you place the notes in the right spot. All right? And always make sure that you're only accenting the single notes. Don't accent the doubles. Keep those nice and quiet, at a quiet dynamic level, no matter what variation you're playing. So I can go all day with that. But now those are the 3 different permutations or versions that we are going to cover today. Now, it's up to you how we're going to it's up to you how you're going to put it around the drum set. So I'm going to show something really quickly, all right? So let's just take one of the versions. Let's just go with what we began with, which was... All right, now we're going to bring that around the kit. What I like to do is put the accented notes, the single accented notes, on the toms. All right? So that's so if I was to improvise a little bit, it sounds like this. And then once you get comfortable with that, you can move those doubles on the toms too. But just remember, like I said a minute ago, do not accent those doubles. Keep them nice and low. Let the singles be the strong notes here. So you get this. Once you do that enough, you can go crazy with it. Now, one more thing, and this is going to incorporate the feet a little bit more. Now, bring in the bass drum. You can use 1 foot, you can use 2 feet. For right now, I'm just going to use both of my feet so you really hear how strong these accents come out. So, bringing those accents to the cymbals, you get something pretty cool going on. Here's an example. Get something like that. Or if you want to go to variation number 2, which was to play the 2 single notes first and then the doubles, you can get something like this. All right? And then you can now... Here's another cool thing you could do with the feet, and this just involves double bass drumming spurt. Play any version you want, but always insert a quick spurt right before the rudiment ends, or right about you're about to play the first note of the rudiment. So something like this. Let's try with variation number 2, which again with the 2 single strokes at the beginning. So you get something like this. Whoops. Actually, you know what? That doesn't really work as much. My fault. Go with the first version, number 1. Actually, you know what? Stay with version number 2. hiccups here and there, but you get my point. I'm sorry I'm going at a brisk pace here, but I wanted to cover as much as possible. So now it's up to you, the viewer, the drummer, whoever you are, to take this where you please. All right? So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything else you want to say, feel free to do so, and I will try and respond to you as soon as I can. All right, everyone? Hope you enjoyed this lesson, and I will see you next time.